you're confused about technology, there's a nerd you need to see, Beth Z TV.
Welcome to Powered Productivity, tech tools to get stuff done. I am Beth Z. I am your nerdy best friend. And today we are going to be doing a session I call Powered Productivity. And it's kind of a catch-all for all kinds of things that will make your life easier. I always change this one up. There are so many new things. So even if you've seen this one, I added multiple things today that I just discovered. So all kinds of new things and some reminders in case you've been to some of my other sessions about things you still haven't done. I'm just saying. The first thing that I want to do with y'all is a little challenge. This is brand new. So get your phones out. I'm going to wait a minute. Everybody get your phones out. Right. When you have your phone in your hand, I want you to put got it in the chat. Probably it was within 4 seconds of you because you're waiting for this to be boring. I understand. All right. Got it. Perfect. I think pretty much everybody's got it. If you look at the screen, it has a big QR code. I want you to take your phone and use that QR code, scan it. We're going to do a texting challenge. Let me see here. I've got to do it this way. A texting challenge. All right. Does anybody not got it? Because I'm going to take that off the screen and show you mine. What we're all going to do when I count to 3 is do a texting challenge, and you're going to see what your score is. Okay. And you can see you're just going to type whatever they have right there. 1, 2, 3, go. And ta-da, a lot of us are turtles. I am a turtle. I got the lowest score I think they could give was what I got. If you look down, you can see the global scores. A lot of people are a lot better than we are at this capabilities. By the way, there are others of these online. I found this one. And the accuracy was 100%. My accuracy was like -2%. I count on apparently a lot of autocorrect for mine. But the point is that when we are texting, we're not necessarily making the best of our time when we're typing on our phones. And Apple and Android both have these features that will let you shortcut that. Now, I'm going to show it to you. Today in my newsletter, I explained all of it, but I want us all to play with it. So your phones are right there. If you have updated your iPhone to iOS 15, this will work if you have it enabled. If you have not updated that, and if you are on an Android, if you're on an Android, there are a couple of places it might be. But if you haven't updated your iPhone, you won't see this and you'll be sad. So Android people, you're going to either go to an app called Google Lens or an app called Google, or it may be embedded in your camera, or you can go into Google Photos, any of those things. And with Apple, you need to go into your camera if you have updated. So let me show you. I'm going to put this on the screen. Okay, this is my phone. And I am going to open up the camera. What Apple has done, play along with me at home. What Apple has done is I'm going to toggle this so you can see what it is. Down at the corner, you're going to see a little square that now has the ability to read what's on the screen. So I can get straight from a business card the URL, the phone number, and the email address, plus any of the text. Now, this business card, it didn't like that much. Let me go with my book. All right, so let's say you find something in the book and you want to share it with somebody. You're like, oh, outsourcing work tasks, fancy hands. I really need to tell someone about that. So you can just click on that little button and it pulls the text up. Then you can copy it, select all, look it up. You can see that the word fancy hands is turned now into a URL itself. So I could go there. Sometimes it reads it okay, sometimes it doesn't. But now you have shortcutted all those things. Plus, let's say I want to go into texting. All right. And I want to text something to somebody. Well, when I click here, there's also that little identification tool. And so I could come into here and it's showing me the words that it found. There you go. All right, everybody play around with that for a second. Android, it's going to be in one of three or maybe all of three places. While I'm sitting here talking, I want y'all to be playing. Actually, pull out your phones, try these things out. I'm just going to talk about what you should be looking for, but you can be using this as hands-on time. And it can be in Google Photos. All of those places, it has the lens capabilities. So Google Lens will also do all kinds of cool things. It'll identify plants. It'll identify people in a picture. It'll identify landmarks and give you history information about it. There's so much information that Google Lens does. Apple, not so much yet, but Apple just released this in iOS 15, which came out, I think, a week and a half ago. And this capability is at your fingertips. I can't tell you how convenient you will find this when you're on the go, trying to communicate information to other people, trying to identify plants, trying to identify different things. By the way, if you're an Apple person and you want all the capabilities of Google Lens, you can download an app called Google. It's called Google. It's not just the search engine inside Chrome or something like that. And it'll have it there. You can also have Google Photos on your phone. I'll switch right back to my phone to show you. So I have Google on here. It's just called Google, right? And then with Google, there is a little camera and it can identify different things. It can also help you with homework. So it can help you with problems. You can do shopping. So if I wanted to buy another coffee mug with coffee on it, it'll identify places, point at buildings for details. So the homework is like if you have a problem, if you want to search for something, like if I wanted to search, there's some visual matches for my coffee cup. If you wanted to grab text from something, like these are my little buttons here. It identified Stream Deck. I can click that and then it's going to show me Stream Deck and all kinds of things. Apple calls their version Live Text and it's brand new. You can also translate, right? In both of them, you can translate. It is now translating to German, the things that are on this screen. very quickly. Very fast, very easy, saving you time, searching for things, looking at things. I love the search feature. So you can look at, this is outside my window, little blue buttons will show up and trying to identify things that it sees. But here's some visual matches like, oh, look, it's a window out to a garden. But here is another product that I have in my house. Let's see. And you can see the little blue dot appeared. Earth friendly, all-purpose cleaner plus. There you go. Live text doesn't have as good of a feature as that, but oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how much time this saves from looking up things, retyping things, and we already proved that we're not very good typists. Very easy to do. All right. That was one of the new things that I have today, but I have a lot more stuff. This session is powered productivity. And like I said, we're going to have a lot of different things to talk about. And I've kind of arranged them with some trivia. So in the chat, if you can vote, we'll see what y'all know. This is kind of interesting. NASA research gave pilots an activity and measured how effective they were after the activity. What activity improved job performance, what they were doing, by 34%? What was it? Was it a 26-minute power nap, a 12-minute jog? NASA scientists have said a power nap will help people be more productive. It's really, really, really important to take care of yourself and to get enough sleep, and we're not. NASA scientists said that a 26-minute power nap works the best. Since then, they have revised a little bit, and now they say that they've said a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, depending on what the situation is. Other studies have said if you take a cup of coffee before you do a power nap, you will be much more productive after that. But the point is, most of us, maybe it's just me, think of power naps as a little, not wimpy, let's say, but a little childish, right? That's why I told you that NASA people say that's not true. This app is called Bzz. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but it calls itself Bzz. And this app lets you focus on napping and focus on sleeping and focus on getting that kind of deep rest that you need. Now, I've had a lot of people recommend Bzz to me, but it's not free. And I don't like things that are not free. So I actually went out and started using podcasts and these little meditation tools. Here's one called Insight Timer. It's a very famous meditation tool that a lot of people use. They have a lot of free ones on here. And what I love about the podcasts is that they literally they lull you into sleep, and then they start talking louder at the end and wake you up in 20 or 30 minutes. Fantastic, easy. These are low cost. If you have a lot of things like international travel, people use these a lot to help them with jet lag. But these things will help you get that rest that you didn't even know necessarily that you needed. All right, let's ask another question. There were a number of studies like this. The most well-known one says that they gave Microsoft managers a task, like work on this project. And then they interrupted them. And it was very, very, very quick interruption, 1 minute, 2 minutes, an email, a phone call. But after the interruption, how long did it take for the Microsoft managers to get back to the place that they were? Was it 3, 23, 53, or 103 minutes? What do you think? A lot of y'all know the answer. Yay, 23 minutes. Think about that, 23 minutes to get back to where we were. So I want to talk to you about a couple of task management tools. I put Microsoft To Do on there, not because it's the best, but because it ate the best one. way back in the day. And they phased the other tool out last year, I think, finally. But Microsoft To Do bought one of the most popular apps called Wunderlist. And now Microsoft To Do is integrated into the Microsoft system. So that's very helpful. Todoist has a lot of characteristics that people love, including gamification. So the longer you do your tasks, the more karma points you get, and then you win. Now, you don't win against anything that's actually a competition, but you win. And people like that. Another thing it does is it really focuses in on what you need to know right then. And these are characteristics that are very helpful. Now, let me tell you just for a second, and this is kind of off topic because I'm just now exploring this. You know, Microsoft has Word, Excel, Outlook, tasks. They're all kind of separate pieces. And for our entire work lives, we have worked that way, where everything is kind of piecemealed together. And when you're doing a document, you know that it's a document or you know it's a spreadsheet, and they're all separate. But what's happening right now is that more of us are kind of having these fluid documents, right? So we do a Microsoft Word document, but it needs to connect to a PowerPoint and that kind of thing. And so there's a big trend in some of the big tools to bringing all of these things together into one app rather than having distinct files that do distinct things. Microsoft is starting to do that a little bit, but the real leader here, and I haven't investigated it as much. It just came out, like I read about it yesterday. Google Drive is making it so that you can pull in a document. You can just make a little notation to get the spreadsheet information in there. You can make a little notation to get notifications to people and to assign tasks to people. And they're using these shortcuts in documents. And I put documents in quotations because they're no longer documents. They're kind of workspaces where work is produced, but it's no longer this siloed kind of thing that we're used to. So this has started to happen. Now, Microsoft is trying to integrate its separate apps into itself, and Google is taking great steps to bring that. They've moved out ahead. But there are other tools in this category that are really also in this capacity. Trello and Asana, some of you have heard me talk about those before. Those are project management tools that can act as a task list and then moving up to that project management category. But these things are these platforms. I'm coming over here to Notion. Notion, you may have heard of Notion. You may have heard of Monday.com. It says right there, more than a doc, more than a table, more than a project management tool. It is a way to bring work to a space that makes sense for you. Like I said, I'm going to look into the Google Drive thing that just happened this week, and maybe I'll do an update on that in my newsletter fairly soon. But these are changing the way we're viewing and we're thinking of Office documents, right? So they have workspaces and you have documents in there, but you also have just information that's kind of free flow rather than in individual files. It also has wikis, and this is something that I think we all need to think about. If you did not come to work tomorrow, if somebody else needed to take on your tasks tomorrow, would they know what to do? A wiki is something where you can store that institutional knowledge from everything from how do we onboard a new customer to where do we keep the coffee, right? All these little pieces of information that only you know can be inside of Notion or some type of wiki. I'm overwhelmed right now. So one of the things that we're talking about in the chat is about G Suite, because again, that's kind of keeping those things together. And I want to talk about this tool. It's called Zoho. Zoho has been around a long time. When I first discovered it, number one, it starts with a Z, so I was very excited. When I first discovered it, I was like, why isn't the world using this? And really, none of the world was using it. But in the past couple of years, they've gained a lot of traction, and they released something that's probably akin to G Suite, to the bigger Microsoft packages. It's called Zoho One, and I just got through the trial and I paid for it as of yesterday. So we're doing it. And what it does is it brings together a whole suite of apps in that same kind of workplace format. And the price I'm paying, it's an institutional tool, right? So my company, I have myself and my manager. I pay $37 a month for 2 users. For the year we paid in advance, and we get all of these tools, and they all integrate together, and they all have the same dashboard connection together. And I'm excited to tell people about this as I use it, and to help them understand how these whole systems together are working better than the way we used to use Amazon, or not Amazon, the way we used to use Microsoft. All right, let's go back. Again, I've got all kinds of new things for you. If you would like the handouts, as always, text the word nerd to 66866. You will get all the handouts. Don't worry about it. There are lots of them, and we have all kinds of options. Workers report checking email more than 3 hours a day. Where are they checking them? Of these, which do you think is the most frequent? In bed, in the bathroom, while working out, or in a conversation? In the bathroom. What are you people thinking? In a conversation with other people. That's a bummer. The answer is in bed. Exactly, in bed. Of these that are most frequent, that means that a lot of us are going to bed with our phones and checking email, work email, right before we go to bed. And then we wake up and we reach for our phones, and there they are, and we're checking email again. I'm guilty of it. It happens all the time. In the bathroom, yep, it's in the top 5. While watching something is the most frequent. While at a meeting with someone else, you are checking your work email. Let me ask a question. How many of y'all have already checked your email in the few minutes I've been speaking? Let me tell you why it is so important. Let me have someone else actually tell you why it's so important to manage your email.
What did we do before email? Well, we actually worked. Did you know that the average American worker spends 3.1 hours per day on email? 3.1 hours per day wading through emails, and about half of them are just wasting their time. How much does this add up to? Well, if you do the math, that winds up being about 15.5 hours per week, or 20 full weeks throughout the year just on email. How do we be even better at getting through our emails, getting rid of the things we don't need, and being more productive? Stay tuned. Beth has the answers.
I know famous people. I'm just saying that was Mary C. Kelly. She is a Hall of Fame speaker. Let me ask you, I'm not going to make you fess up, but how many unread emails do you have? Some people are inbox 0 people. Some people have 15,000, 100,000. Yeah. The problem is that many of us keep a lot of emails. And even if you have 0 emails, you are spending an average of 11 seconds per email, no matter what it is, to deal with it. So you are spending too much time here. Here's one of my favorite tools for taking care of email. It's called unroll.me. What it does is it looks at all of your emails, all of your subscription tools, and puts them in a list, right? Everything you've subscribed to. Because sometimes, like, you walk past a Bed Bath & Beyond and get on their list somehow, right? It's crazy. So you can very quickly see all of your subscriptions in a line when you use unroll.me, and then you can click them and unsubscribe. That's it. You click them, click a button, unsubscribe. And then the other ones, here's the key, you can digest. So instead of giving 17 individual emails, these are the ones that you want to keep, but you get them every day and they just clog everything up. These are the ones that are like the updates that you have a notification that somebody did something on LinkedIn, or a legislative update you want to keep up with, or Beth Z's newsletter, right? You want them, but when they come in, sometimes you don't have time to read them. So you end up with hundreds of thousands of unread emails, or you just delete them because you don't want them in your inbox. This gives you one email, the digest does, with just the previews of what they are. And then you can click into them and see what they are, or delete the whole thing and you don't have a whole bunch lined up. Here's another one that I love. Let me show you this one. It's called Follow Up Then. And what Follow Up Then does is, so let me come over here. followupthen.com. You can send any email, all the emails that you have in your inbox right now that you don't need to deal with. You can just click and forward them to, let's say, 2 weeks at followupthen.com. That's the name of the email address. 2 weeks at followupthen.com. 1 week, Friday at followupthen.com. It'll come back to you. Now, if you're using Gmail or you're using Outlook or whatever you're using, chances are you have a snooze feature in there. I think followupthen.com is cuter. But if you're not using that snooze factor, what you're doing is letting emails clog up that you need to keep next to you, but maybe you don't need them right now, and they can come back to you when it's more appropriate. Let me give you a couple more email hacks. These are brand new to the presentation. Creating templates. How many of you frequently have emails that you write over and over again? Like either you're just acknowledging something, or you're sending them a resource that a lot of people ask for, or you are replying thanks but no thanks, or I'm not the right person. Chances are you have written the same email multiple times to different people, and every time you have to rewrite it. You can use the built-in tool for Outlook and for Gmail that will help you create templates automatically. Well, no, you create the templates and then you can use them and choose them and get the information back to people. Sometimes I have to write to 10 of my clients about the same thing that's coming up, something like that. The first person I write it to, I save the template, and then I just keep calling it up and changing the name or changing what I need to. Very simple. Now, here is another resource that somebody just posted, Grammarly. If you're not familiar with Grammarly, it's a fantastic tool as well. Grammarly will check your grammar and your spelling and your punctuation, all kinds of things as you're composing them in your browser, right? If you're using Gmail or what have you, you can have in your browser the help you need to make sure you're writing good things, or if you're writing a blog post. And it also will have those messaging templates that you can create. So you can have Google templates with Gmail, Outlook templates, and other tools will let you have templates to save you time and stop you from having to do all those things by yourself. Some other people are using SaneBox. I'm going to go ahead and call that one up here as well, because a lot of people have told me about this. I've tried it out. I didn't use it yet, but SaneBox is email management. Now, remind me, let's see, do they have a free version? They do not have a free version, but they do have pretty reasonable prices, I guess. It cracks me up that they're doing 23 cents a day, 27 cents a day, and they do snack, lunch, dinner. Obviously, you're going to have to figure out what level you need, but SaneBox will help you get organized as well. Several of my friends use it. Again, I haven't tried to. Gmail works fine with me. It does a lot of different things that I need, but SaneBox will help you get organized as well. It's an extra bonus tool. This is a email signature maker for free. I love it. It makes beautiful email signatures. You just start personalizing the text in there, and you can create your own beautiful email signature. You don't even have to have HubSpot's branding on there. The thing is, though, HubSpot is a marketing company, and they are very good at putting you on a list. So when you use this tool, you've got a chance to opt out of their mailings, but they're still going to have your email address. This is a fantastic way to very quickly do a email signature that is very professional and nice, rather than the just pile of them that you have or fast things. Let's talk now about mail hacks. We did email hacks, but here are a couple of mail hacks that you may or may not have heard of. I am in love with informed delivery from USPS. There's a couple of reasons why you should do it. First off, what informed delivery is a tool that the USPS scans every piece of mail it's going to put into your mailbox. And you can sign up to see every piece of mail that's going to be in your mailbox. You see those scans. You can see when the packages are coming. Now, it's easy and fast to do, and it helps me. So let's say we're expecting something from the VA for my husband, which happens on occasion. I can keep an eye on it so that I know it's come and he doesn't have to worry about it anymore, or it's on its way. But also, we have heard stories about bad people who have taken the USPS informed delivery and claimed your house. And what happens is the bad people then get a notification about what goodies have come to your mailbox. Now, it hasn't happened a lot, but this is some security vulnerability that's easy for you to fix. And you get the added benefit of every day getting an email, very quick email that says, here is what is being delivered at your house. They always say soon. It's not necessarily that day, but usually it's that day. Here's another thing I love. It's called Paper Karma. I don't know about you, but especially around the holidays, I ended up with stacks of unwanted catalogs that just come. And we have a whole bunch of gardening catalogs. I got on a list for bulbs and I get them in the mail. I don't need them. I'd rather go online. Paper Karma lets you scan. You have to sign up. They've changed their pricing. I think you get 5 for free. Let's see, maybe you don't get 5 for free. I pay the $25 a year. I guess I should do the lifetime because I've been doing it for several years, but you can pay $4 and do everything in a month. But you sign up for it and then you walk around and you just take pictures of the return address and the information they have about you from the front letter or something, whatever spam mail you're getting, and you submit it. And they opt you out. They actually write to the company and say, take them off your list. Very easy, very fast, and it works. Now, it works for national and international companies, right? It's not going to work for if Joe's Pizza Shack has put you on a list. It's not going to work for that. It's also not going to work for the advertisements, the local advertisements that come to your house. But we have very quickly, you can do like major, like all of the fundraising things I get rid of, all those things I get rid of, except the ones that send me return address things, because I really like those. But I get rid of some catalogs, those big catalogs that come that I'm just not going to use. I can get me off their lists just by clicking on this. So that's mail hacks versus email hacks. All right, what else do I have for y'all here? We have about 16 minutes left. So if you have questions, please put them in the box right there. Now, if you have listened to me before, you know that this is one of my hot buttons. I'm sorry, but your password must contain an uppercase letter, a number, a haiku, a gang sign, a hieroglyph, and the blood of a virgin. And according to our IT department, you need to change it at 2 a.m. every day, right? Passwords are the bane of our existence. And I have been speaking about passwords for 10 years. And every year we have people who say passwords are not going to be around for very much longer. We've got better ways that we're doing it. And guess what? Passwords are still around and we're still bad at using them. So there are several places that we can take care of the password situation. Let me go right here and get down to the nitty and the gritty. Have I been pwned? Is an email and password checker. And I want us all to go there because this is critical. When you get to this site, what it is it aggregates all of the publicly available information that the bad guys have on us. They have access to it. I want you to put your email addresses in here. If you have already done this exercise, I want you to think about people on your team, people who work for you, your parents, your kids. I want everyone to test a few email addresses in here. And we'll give it a couple of minutes. Find out if you have been pwned. That means pawned and owned. I don't know. Nerds make up words. Find out if you have a security risk or if other people have had a security risk in your world. So I'm going to give you about a minute. And if you've found out, go ahead and put in the chat. Who do you know who has been pwned? I'm going to try my dad. And my father has been caught up in 12 data breaches. 12 data breaches. Now, here's something about my father. He is brilliant. He's got a PhD in zoology, and he has been scammed. If he can fall for it, other people in your life can fall for it. He's incredibly smart. He lives on his own, manages his own money. Everything's great. And he has fallen for some of these scams that the bad guys have gotten his information. So Papa was involved in a LinkedIn breach, like many of us were, exploit.in, Evite, like many of us were. Some of these are sites like Collection Number One. That was the biggest, the mother of all dumps, data dumps. So it was probably a lot of different sites. Some we knew, some we didn't, and they just aggregated the data. It is important for you to check not only yours, but other people's. Then you can come over here to passwords and go ahead and put in some of your passwords that you have had for a while. So I just put in one that I used to use all the time. It has been seen 360 times before, which means if I am reusing that password, which I no longer am, every place that I'm reusing it has the ability to be stolen and reused at different places. We are not very good at passwords. We are still not very good at passwords. And let me tell you something. Write this down. This is where the speaker becomes very serious and looks directly in the camera. If you take nothing else from this session, understand that you need to have a unique, unguessable password for every single site you visit, period. You can no longer reuse passwords. You need to have two-factor authentication. You need to have unique passwords, and you need to have a great way to keep track of them. Now, the way I keep track of them, and I have for years, and the main reason is it's not that I love it more than anything else. It's because I started using it first. I use a tool called LastPass. It's named to be the last password you're ever going to need. And LastPass saves all of my passwords in a vault. And more importantly, every time I go to a site and need to sign up for something, it will help me generate a secure password. There's also 1Password, Dashlane. They don't have free versions. LastPass has a free version, but they changed it not too long ago. And everybody got mad at them because they took away a few features. And everybody's like, oh, I don't want to pay $36 a year to protect my identity. How dare you? And so a lot of people went to Bitwarden because Bitwarden has the same free tools that LastPass used to offer. So if you want to get mad and use the free one, that's fine, but use something. Now you can use your browsers. They will save things. They are not quite as secure, but they've improved quite a bit. This is the National Cybersecurity Alliance, and I love what they have done here. What the National Cybersecurity Alliance has done is it is linked directly to the places and pages where you can manage your privacy settings, rather than you having to run around and find your privacy settings to take a look at them. So I can click on, well, I don't have an AOL account anymore, but in AOL, here are privacy settings and places that you can start changing things so that you have a more secure setup. If you have MyFitnessPal, you can click on MyFitnessPal and get information about the information that is private and the information that is out there for everyone. I want everyone to click around this page for a couple of minutes and bookmark a couple of the things that you really need to check. There's so much information that leaks and that we don't even know that it's being leaked. So click around in here for a couple of seconds and find a couple of things that you need to bookmark. All of these things need to be checked, and you need to share them with people, and you need to know what's being put out there and know how to hold on to it. Here's a new study that it's an old study that I found. It's a new tool that I love. So there's a psychologist named Robin Dunbar, and Robin Dunbar started studying animal populations and things, and then moved on to human populations. And Robin Dunbar estimates that most of us have a social circle limited to about how many people? What do you think? $450, $250, $150. If you said $150, you are right, according to Mr. Dunbar. Think about that. 150 people. Now, how many Facebook friends do you have? I guarantee I don't have 550 Facebook friends or whatever it says I have. I can guarantee. Never have had that in my life. So when you are looking at these relationships, you realize that you actually don't know a lot of people. Here's a little diagram from Sketchplanations, which is a cool site. It explains a lot of different philosophical things. So Dunbar's number, that's what they call it, is 150. The people we can keep track of. So we have 150 people in our tribe. And then we have a clan, getting closer, people who we're more connected. 50, super family, about 15 we keep track of, and maybe 5 close friends, right? So we have these expanding circles, but they're pretty limited. Now, if we are business people, which we almost all are, we can't afford to have it be that limited. So I like this tool. It's called Rememorate. And Rememorate is a site tool that lets you remember names. It'll give you little hints of where you met people, how you met people. It'll give you little quizzes about who people are, and you can sign up, get connected to people, and help remember who you're meeting. I am horrible. I have literally, I figured out, I speak to, when I spoke in person, I speak to more than 10,000 people a year. And then I'll go back repeatedly to a group and someone will come up and say, "Oh my gosh, Beth, it's so great to see you again." And I'm like, yes, it is, you wonderful person, you. I'm horrible. But Rememorate is one of those tools that'll help you connect with people and really remember their names and their faces. We are down to 6 minutes. Let me see what else I have. Again, I added all kinds of different things this time because I wanted to give those of you who have seen me before some brand new stuff. Let me show you this one. This is a little hack for email. No, sorry. This is a little hack for YouTube. So at the very beginning of this presentation, I was showing y'all a fun video called Kids React to Technology. And this was Kids React to the first iPod. And here it is on the screen. Now, if you look at the way this looks, this is how, let's see, I am going to do back to the default view. So this is how, when you're showing a YouTube video or looking at it, this is how they usually look, right? You've got your playlists on the side, you've got suggested things, you've got all the stuff at the bottom and stuff at the top, whatever, lots of stuff. But there's a site, and it was pretty much made for teachers and schools. And it has permission from YouTube, which means it's more likely to not disappear. There's a site called Video Link. I'll just do another one. And what Video Link does is let you put in a URL from a YouTube channel, click, it creates a safe URL, and you go to there. So instead of having all of this on each page, this is all you're going to have. Now you have this nice clean page where you can see everything. You don't have all of the ads. You don't have all the playlists. Now it's still going to have the pop-ups that come up on the screen and ads if they're included, but this is so much cleaner and so much nicer to present. All right, we are down to the end of our session. I hope this was helpful for you. I got a lot of new things that I wanted to share with you. You have all kinds of extra stuff in the handouts that you will be getting. I will leave you with this one. If you haven't heard me talk about Otter, you haven't heard me talk. This is one of my favorite things. Otter is a tool that will help you do this. I am just going to start speaking. And what it's doing is real-time transcription of me talking. And I can share this immediately with anybody I want to. I can take notes on it. And as I am speaking, it is going back through and using artificial intelligence and connecting the gist of the conversation to the words and changing the words to make them make more sense. Fantastic tool. It's free for 400 minutes a month and will completely change the way you are meeting with people. We are now at the top of the hour. That is it. That is all I have. I have a big finish. You ready for my big finish? Here we go.
Our nerdy time is through, but Beth Z is always here for you. Your nerdybestfriend.com.
Thank y'all all so very, very much. And I hope to see you again. We've got one more at the end of this year. And then I'm going to be doing my video hands-on workshop at the end of this year. At the beginning of next year, I'm going to do a What's New with Zoom session that is going to be, the cost of it is a donation to a charity. So look for that in the new year. Hope you can make the other two at the end of this year. And until then, this is Beth Z, your nerdy best friend, saying, nerd on.
If you're confused about technology, there's a nerd you need to see. Beth Z TV.